It should be starting now.
Okay, Greenwood Leflore Consolidated School District Board of Trustees work session. Consolidated meeting Wednesday, April 1st, 2020, 4:30. Dr. Brown.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The first thing on our work session, State Board of Education policy updates, and we will begin with the first thing you have in your packets is the immediate release from the Mississippi Department of Education State Superintendent, and in it includes the revisions of the policies they address, the graduation for the class of 2020, the student scheduled to take the high school end of course assessments, high school credits, communication about third graders, education preparation program entry, and education preparation. The first thing on the agenda is the graduation of the class of 2020. So if you look in that document, I'll first read what the document says, and then we will discuss the 2019-2020 graduation updates as they pertain to the GLCSD, which will basically be the same as what the state superintendent submitted. Current seniors who meet all district and state requirements may graduate this school year. The requirement that students end of course assessments in Algebra 1, English 2, Biology, and U.S. History has been suspended for seniors because these assessments cannot be administered this spring of 2020. Statewide, students are still required to earn a minimum of 24 Carnegie units to graduate, as well as what we're going. At this time, we have 269 seniors in the district, and we are encouraging all of the seniors and their parents to contact the school counselors to make sure that the students have their Carnegie units. But we're also going to require counselors to reach out to our parents to communicate with them whether or not those students have met those requirements. Any questions?
Yes, Ms. Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think the counselors will be back in the schools? Because I contacted Ms. Brown yesterday, and she said that they're not able to get back into the schools yet. So
we need to get them back in.
Well, I won't say that's what I communicated with principals. If teachers or individuals needed to go back into the buildings, but I encourage them not to stay in buildings. Long as there's some information that they need from the schools, then they are to contact their principals to set up a time to get into the schools. So the answer is yes.
Okay.
Ms. Brown can reach out to myself or Dr. Puller or Mr. Johnson, and we'll make sure that she can get into the school to get what she needs.
But isn't there certain records that they can access online though, correct?
I'm thinking most of the students will want to look at, are probably be asking about transcripts.
Okay.
And so those are things that they may very well need to look at some information from at the schools to give to the parents or provide those answers to parents' questions.
So is there any way we can get our counselors to go back? I mean, they will be working alone, so is there any kind of way we can get them to go back? Because I mean, with transcripts and all that, scholarships on the line, I mean, I'm even if they at school working and they calling people by appointments only, seeing them one at a time or something. But I'm sure there's some seniors that need to get some stuff sent off for scholarship purposes and other things.
I think so, and I also think for those seniors or those parents, even if they cannot come to the schools, the counselors can call or do like we're doing, just set up those face-to-face meetings with those students. We'll provide the link for them to do so through our district, but just to make sure that all of our kids, I really want to make sure that the kids are okay when it comes to graduating. So we can do that, and we're gonna make notes of that also. And the counselors can come to work, because if nobody's in the buildings, they can come. But if the parents cannot get here, or anybody is apprehensive about getting out, we can still do the phone conferences and the face-to-face videos.
Dr. Brown, is it possible for some of the schools within the district to be set up as like a meet site where you only allow 2 or 3 people in at a time to exchange that information if necessary, especially if parents or students have transportation issues?
So your question is if to set up a meet site at each of the high schools
If that's feasible.
for parents who have transportation issues. Again, I would just kind of go back to if we can do it in such a way where parents don't have to get out, because we're trying to prevent the exposure of the virus. If we can do the conferences online, I think that would be our first option. Because we do want to protect families, but we also want to protect our staff. But also to answer your question, the other part, that if there are documents that parents need, we can very well mail those to their homes also, or set up a place where they could meet somewhere to pick up packets, but mailing or something like that, just to try to prevent as less contact as we can.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
We ready?
Okay. So the one question, and it's not on here, but I've read some questions that some of the seniors and parents of seniors are asking, and it relates to graduation and prom. And at this time, we're moving under the guidance of what the state is issuing down to us. But I think like some of the schools or school districts throughout the state or in other states, they're moving those dates. They're not canceling graduation totally. They're just rescheduling those dates. So we're going to continue to monitor that. But I will say that right now our diplomas have been ordered. And we're going to continue to plan for our kids' graduation. It may not be the date that's scheduled. It just depends on how this virus and school closures are going or progressing. And then we will, when it's safe enough to have a graduation, we will have a graduation ceremony for our seniors.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next one is students scheduled to take the high school end of course assessments. And Dr. Pulley will explain that one. Okay, and so let me read it and then I'll explain. Any student in grades.
I got it. I'm on mute. I got it. I'm on mute. I'm good. Any student in grades 7 through 12 who is currently enrolled in Algebra 1, Biology 1, English 2, and or U.S. History during the 2019-2020 school year will not be required to take and or pass the corresponding inter-course subject area test, or meet one of the options in lieu of passing the test to meet graduation requirements. And so those students who are currently sitting in those classes will be exempt from those exams. They also do not have to take it the next year. We're just in the process of trying to plan for students who will be enrolled in those classes on next year. So students, also students in various grades, we've been having communications on what we could possibly do once we are clear to enter, to go back to the school in order to plan for those students who are entering those grades and those classes.
We also had discussion. I'm sorry. We also had discussion the 11th grade students. We currently have 294 of them. And because the things that we talked about, similar to our seniors, we're going to encourage the parents to contact the counselors beginning now to see how many Carnegie units, Carnegie credits our students have. But we're also going to encourage the counselors after they finish making contact with all seniors to begin contacting the parents of the juniors so that parents will know the standing of those students. We don't want to get to the last minute and have students not having all credits to graduate. We're also going to continue to provide the ACT support to juniors who are going to be our seniors next year and encourage them to retake those assessments as needed and just track and monitor the progress of our students who are our upcoming seniors. High school Carnegie credits, Dr. Pulley.
School districts shall determine a process for awarding a Carnegie unit credit for courses that are incomplete for school year 2019-2020. Now, local school boards have the authority to suspend or amend their graduation policies for the 2019-2020 school year, provided the policies continue to meet the standards. In our policies, just as the state requires, students must have the 24 Carnegie units. And one way we've discussed assigning those particular grades is through a rubric for online instruction and a rubric of the instructional packets. So basically, for students who meet the requirements of logging in daily, completing assignments, submitting the instructional packet responses, then we do have a rubric which outlines specific grades which would be assigned as it relates to that. And it also takes into consideration any technology issues that students may have. It takes into consideration access to instructional packets and that sort of thing.
So Dr. Pulley, at this time, do all of our seniors have access to those Chromebooks?
If students do not have access to USA test prep, teachers have been creating assignments using USA test prep. That's an online software. Students don't have access to the Chromebooks. Instructional packets were created to assist those situations.
Okay.
So, Dr. Pulley,
yes,
Dr. Brown, is this the separate email that you sent us?
Yes, so the rubric that was sent in the email, we took into account there are students who have Chromebooks, but still have like the hotspot, the connection is not as strong as it would be. So we created the online instructional packets. We also took into consideration that some families are unable to print. And we also took into consideration that we didn't want to expose our staff as much or cause people to have to come out to get packets. So one thing we asked the students to do, you don't have to print the packet, just write the answers down. Keep those answers in a folder, and when we resume, when we come back, then they'll submit their work. So when we put together the rubric, if you look at it, the way it's designed, no student will fail for the 4th 9 weeks. However, we can't risk our students not being engaged. So when you look at the requirements they have to meet to get the A, this is for logging in day, it's either or, because if you have a child who doesn't have a Chromebook, they still have the packet. So either they log in and complete all the assignments, or they submit all of their responses from their instructional packets. And as long as they do that, then they are receiving A. And that's just making sure that our students have something to keep them engaged. All of our instructional packets are uploaded to our district webpage. Bankston Elementary set out some tables, and they, for any of the elementary students to come through our parents, and they come and they pick packets up from Bankston. Other principals have made their own preparations for getting packets to parents who may want a hard copy, but for us to limit the exposure, we put it on our district page so that they could just write the answers on a plain sheet of paper. The requirements for B, students log in at least 3 days a week and complete some, even if they don't complete all of the assignments, they do log in and work on it because we can monitor the login hours and submit some. They work on the instructional packets. Even if some of the information is incomplete, at least they tried. So when we look at that the students can earn a B. The C is the lowest grade that a child can earn, and that's if they log in less than 3 days a week and they complete a few assignments. We hope they log in more, but we don't know everybody's situation. And if they don't submit their instructional packet responses, the lowest that we will give them or they'll earn is a C. We didn't think it was fair to fail any child, but we do want our kids to remain engaged, and hopefully this will continue to, because they already have first, second, third, 9 weeks grade. So we had to find a way of create a rubric to come up with how we would give them or how they could earn a grade for 4th 9 weeks.
Okay, and Dr. Brown and Dr. Pulley, maybe you can answer this, and I just have 2 questions. If the students do not return to school, how would they submit those hard packet responses for grading? And then 2, at what point would the parents or the students themselves be informed about the need to log on daily or the expectations in regards to logging on?
Okay, so parents and students were informed right, I have to go back, when this school closures first started, we did robocall, we did robotext, we have Facebook, our district page, and principals also communicated so that they were already informed, and we continue to do that. We've created videos for the just instructions on what we're doing with our instructional packages and online learning. And we'll just continue to, I think for the most part, and I'm just speaking now, but for the most part, the parents do know that the packages are online, and the ones that have their login, teachers have communicated with them through the Remind and some of the other means of communication that we have. If there are those out there who don't know, we're just continuing to use all of our avenues to get the word out. So I'm not sure how many don't know, but we will just continue to remind them about that. The second part, to answer your second question, if school does not resume, we will designate some days where we may have to get our bus drivers to stop at our bus stops to just collect packets and bring them back. Because we want our kids to stay engaged, but we do want them to know that we are looking at their work and they will receive the credit for their work. And that, even now I'm saying buses, we may come up with a, but right now we just talked about sending our buses out to the bus stop areas, unless we have, some schools may do a space where parents can drive up and hand off the information. But I think at the forefront of our mind is just making sure we keep everybody safe and do it the safest way. So that's something we want suggestions for that to help us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next we have our 3rd graders. Current 3rd graders will be promoted to 4th grade for the 2021 school year if students meet all other district requirements for promotion. And just as we stated with the 11th graders, our plan for 3rd graders, right now we have 458 3rd graders in the district. So if those students have met all of their district requirements, because they have a first and second, third 9 weeks, grade. And if they met their requirements and if they're passing, they will be promoted to the 4th grade. We have here beginning in June, if the clearance is lifted by June, we plan for this summer to begin a jumpstart remediation program for our 3rd graders who are going to 4th grade, so that we could give them some tutoring prior to them starting the new year, and to use June to provide training for the 4th grade teachers of those 3rd graders who were promoted. In addition to that, beginning in August, continue with our in-school remediation, providing intervention schedules for our 4th grade students, and we're going to track and monitor them. And we talked about adjusting our master schedules, the principals adjusting master schedules so that students will receive more time in reading and language arts. And we also talked about redefining some of the roles of our chiefs so that they can focus on specific grades, because these 3rd graders were promoted, but we need some of our chiefs to focus on 4th grade, as well as the 3rd graders, the 2nd graders who will be promoted to 3rd grade. And then we're encouraging, again, our elementary counselors to contact parents, and parents to contact the elementary counselors to make sure that if they have a 3rd grade child, to see where their child stands academically and what we can do prior to ending this school year to ensure that those babies move on to the next grade, because we will continue to provide them that support as they go, but we want to make sure that the students have met those academic requirements to pass to 4th grade.
Dr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. Do we have enough 4th grade teachers to meet that demand for the students that we're about to send them, because they're going to get the 3rd graders? Well, they're going to get the regular 3rd graders and then the ones that have been retained. So I don't know how many that were retained from last year that are still in the 3rd grade. I'm just wondering, do we have enough 4th grade teachers to meet that demand?
So in those cases, because we have a large amount of 3rd grade teachers now, we'll just shift some of them to 4th grade, or put some of our teachers. We won't need as many 3rd grade teachers as we have now, because they included some retainees. And so some of those teachers will move to 4th grade. And we'll continue to, if we still have shortages, we'll continue to just look for qualified individuals in those grades.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Brown.
Okay, next we have the education preparation. And Dr. Miller will discuss the educator licensure candidates for that. Dr. Miller.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you
Good afternoon.
Primarily what MDE has dictated to us, we're going to follow. There are a few things that they sent down this past week. Really good information that they sent to us. It has some promise in it. They are that some of those things are the provisionally licensed 1-year license. Teachers will be able to get another license. As it stands right now, and when I was speaking to my contact at MDE, the 1-year reprieve was actually a continuation of the year before, so it didn't count against them. So we right now do not have anyone who will go over into the 3-year category. Right now, all we have are just 1 year and 2 year, because most of them have not met that. They just haven't moved over into the 3-year category. So most of our teachers who have the 1-year license will be able to stay on, provided, the principal has recommended them. And another thing, we have several teachers who are 3-year licensed teachers. Most of them are in good shape. Their license does not expire for another 2 years. And in the case of a standard year licensed person who has a standard is a 5-year license, If they're slated to expire on June the 30th of this year, they will be extended another full year to get their semi-credits if they're an administrator, or if they will get, or their CEUs if they are an educator or teacher. Everything is looking good for our teachers right now. And some great news is for those who have come through our educator prep programs. MDE has decided, because there are no testing centers that are open right now, they are going to extend pretty much, if a teacher has come through an educator prep program, they'll be able to contact their education prep program and ask the program to submit an application for licensure for those teachers. That is a great opportunity. They will be issued then a 3-year license, which means that, within the 3 years, those 3 years, teachers have to have all of their state exams passed. They have to have all the practices passed. So if the state is going to give a 3-year license, that kind of lends us to believe, because sometimes there's a little ambiguity in what the state says, but it lends us to believe that most of those tests will be waived, and the timeline for those tests for that to happen is from now until, the state has given us from now until December of 2021. So that's good news. I'm trying to, I did a Facebook video earlier on last week, and I put that information out there, and a lot of people have responded and are acting accordingly. So there's some good news out there for our teachers, for those who have a standard license, a 1-year license, and those who have come through those prep programs. If they are interested in staying on board with us, we are more than happy to welcome them back. And it just kind of makes my life easier, knowing that we can work the ones that are here, most of our teachers who are here and committed to serving the students of Greenwood Leflore County. So that's all I have. Are there any questions for me?
Yeah, I want to know, what about the ones that are in that PBL program?
That right there is, it's kind of uncharted territory. The PBL program is a new program, and because they did sign a 3-year commitment, I think those rules are going to stand. They still have to be in that program for 3 years, just to get the data that we need. But the kind of the jury is still out on what's going to happen with PBL, because some of the things that the state has implemented kind of hijacks the program a little bit. Maybe that's not the right word to use, but it does kind of undermine it a little bit. But because of the commitment that the people signed, those candidates signed, they have to stay in those programs, and the state has granted a license for this year and the remaining 2 years in the program. And of course, I'm going to be in contact with them, and if any changes come down the pike, they will be the first to know. Who knows? MDE could say tomorrow that something happens, and they could be granted and have a 5-year license. Who knows? We just don't know at this point. But this whole situation with COVID-19 has truly opened some doors, and I want everyone to take full advantage of this opportunity. That 3-year license is really, really important, because it says that within those 3 years, you should have taken and passed all of your tests. But the goal is to get a 5-year license, the standard license. I don't know what's going to happen between getting the 3-year and the 5-year license, but it can't be bad, because the 3-year is the test, which is the biggest hurdle. So we're just hoping that
right now they're looking at the 3-year for those EPP or educator preparation participants as the internship. So of course, now the internship at all educator preparation programs in the state, private, and public, we have a meeting, there's a chairs and deans meeting this Friday. And so after I have, I will get in contact with Dr. Brown and the other board members after my meeting, deans and chairs meeting with the Mississippi Association for Colleges of Education in our state, MD and MDE on Friday. So I have a virtual meeting with them early Friday morning. After I have, they're going to give us guidelines because as it stands now, I think districts can only provide that 1 year. Colleges and universities can provide the 3 year and the 5 year. That has to be an electronic recommendation from our colleges and universities statewide. And so each institutional verification officer, there's one at every university. And every student that comes through an MAT, a non-traditional program such as your MA, the Mississippi, that MAPQT program, that's one of your non-traditional. But the traditionals are the colleges of education program, either at the undergraduate level or the MAT level. Those are just to kind of give you some clarity. And so those 3 year and 5 year license come from our end. And so once I have a meeting with them, the deans and chairs meeting Friday, I will get with Dr. Brown and our board members to kind of let them know what guidelines they have put in place, and then we can move forward from there. I have gotten swamped since that Facebook post Dr. Miller put out, but I had to go into the office with a face mask. So we'll once they give us the guidelines, then I'll provide everyone with information how to better assist the school district.
Thank you.
Yes, my goal is to have you swamped. Thank you, Dr. Moore. But yes, I'm encouraging everyone who has come through, especially our local School of Ed in the county, to reach out to the School of Ed and see if they meet the criteria, whatever the criteria may be, that MDE sends you guys for your meeting that's upcoming, to go ahead and see if we can get that moving, because that's going to open some doors. I'm literally wanting everyone to beat the bushes, and anybody who has gone through, this may be the state, because we have such a teacher shortage in the state, this may be an opportunity for the state to pick up a whole lot of teachers and get them certified. So
I say this, Dr. Brown, I think we do still have some currently in our program. The only thing, and most of them have actually finished all coursework, and I ensured that they picked up a SPED endorsement. And the only thing they have to do is internship. Internship in all colleges of ed is 1 year. So we still have about 41 students that are teachers in the Greenwood Leflore Consolidated School District. And I do know that they are saying that they can enter our program now without praxis. So that's why I sent that text message, colleagues, the other day after we got that information. So they can enter our program without tests.
Can they
Right.
if someone in their senior year, whether in their junior or senior, whatever your requirements to finish the education program, but they hadn't got over that test, they had to take it before they graduated from college, right? So are they waiving that test for them to graduate?
That's what I'm gonna find out Friday. And that also goes, lends true to our MAT people. And then the ones that are still enrolled in that program, they have basically completed everything. The only classes they're taking this semester are Test Prep 1. They were enrolled in Test Prep 1. So the only thing they really need are Internship 1 and 2. That's gonna be a 1 year lean. And we have about 41 teachers that are still enrolled in the program from 2016-17 that are still working in our district. Dr. Brown, that's for you.
Well, we appreciate it, and we're definitely, we're gonna do what we can to continue to encourage them. And we welcome those who you send over to us, to work with us. Dr. Miller, did you have anything else on
No,
this?
ma'am, that's it.
Next, and I think we've been talking about it during this entire sessions thus far as the district's, transparency during school closure and how we're continuing to try to get the word out to our parents, students, and community stakeholders. Ms. Coleman?
Yes, good evening, afternoon all. Transparency is key for the school district and the entire community during this coronavirus pandemic. Public transparency refers to how well the district maintains open and honest lines of communication with citizens and keep them informed on decisions that are made in the best interest of students and the district. Parents and community members have been provided the email addresses of all principals and other administrators. We are responding daily to questions, comments, and concerns from the community, and responses are received in a timely manner. We ask that all stakeholders please see our district's website for those email addresses of principals and other administrators.
Okay. Next, we want to share a little bit more about our instructional packets and the distance learning opportunities from Dr. Pulley and Ms. Colby.
All right.
Distance learning distance learning, also called distance education, e-learning, and online learning, is a form of education in which the main elements include physical separation of teachers and students during instruction and the use of various technologies to facilitate student-teacher and student-student communication. We worked on a plan to ensure that we, and Dr. Brown has mentioned it, ensure that we are, even in this time, attempting and doing everything we can to engage our students still in the educational process. We know that this is a tough time. We want all of our students to know that we still have high expectations regarding their engagement. And so with the online work in middle or elementary students, online who have access to the internet, they are utilizing iReady, completing their various lessons, mini lessons and quizzes and other activities for supporting our students in our specific curriculum. Also, instructional packets. Instructional packets have been created for each grade, pre-K through high school, to ensure that our students who do not have access to the internet still has the access to be engaged in daily assignments. Ms. Coleman.
Yes, sir. What we would like for everyone to know is that instruction continues and it does mirror our regular face-to-face classroom instruction. As an example, in classroom, students use laptops in addition to their Chromebooks as well as iPads. Students who have access to these technologies, we're asking that they use them to complete their online instruction. At a minimum, all students can participate using iReady and USA Test Prep. Additionally, students have access to instructional packets. So we've opened up a variety of which the students can get the work done and stay engaged in daily school activities.
Okay. Next, the extended. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any teachers participating in the Zoom, with the Zoom app, with face-to-face instruction?
Now, when the districts first closed, I did hear some teachers recommended, but what we did is encourage the go-to meetings, because I recently heard about the issue with Zoom. And so we just encouraged to use what our district has already paid for and been used, and that's our go-to meetings and our parent portal communication.
Okay.
But I did hear about the compromise with the Zoom, and we'll continue to keep our ears open and ask questions to make sure that our teachers are not using Zoom. But I know when school first closed, we did hear, and they were just giving suggestions on things that could be used, and I did hear Zoom mentioned. But we're encouraging them to use what we already have.
Okay.
The next thing we have is extended school closure until April 30th of 2020. And this is an item that will be up on the board packet in our regular board meeting. We know that on March 14th, Governor Reeves issued a proclamation declaring Saturday, March 14th, and thereafter a state of emergency due to the coronavirus. And on March 29th, the President of the United States extended the social distancing guidelines through April 30th, 2020. And as of today, from my understanding, Governor Tate Reeves has issued, I want to call it a stay-at-home order. And so what we're asking the board is to consider the approval to extend school closure until April 30th of 2020 during our regular board session.
And we will also be in compliance with MDE, correct?
Yes, ma'am. And what we will have to do is email, there's a link, we just email our dates of closure to the MDE. In addition to that, because the district already has emergency plans for the school, but number 5, the 2020-2021 emergency school closure plan, we want to we'll go back and revisit that plan as a result of the coronavirus pandemic and revise some of the emergency procedures there to include 2-hour delayed starts if needed, full day closure procedures, early release. We have it, but we want to go back to put more specifics in those plans, cancellation of after school activities, and again, to allow, inform parents on where our information will be posted and what we want to do as it relates to notifying our parents regarding those. Pre-kindergarten applications, we had some parents to ask about the pre-K applications, and we usually make those available at the central office sites. And so Ms. Coleman, and I think I've emailed the board a copy of the pre-K applications, and Ms. Coleman will discuss how we're going to issue those or have them available or make them available for parents to pick up.
Yes, ma'am. Beginning on Monday, we will have available for parents on our website the 2020-2021 pre-K application. Parents may also pick those applications up on Wednesday. But beginning on Monday, we'll have them on the website. And this program is specifically for children who are or who have become 4 years of age by September 1st or before September 1st. Parents must provide 2 proofs of residency, a birth certificate, an immunization record, and a social security card. Space is limited and applications will be accepted on a first come, first served basis. On Wednesdays, parents may drop those applications, completed applications and documents off at the Educational Services Building at 1901 Highway 82 West. If you have any questions at all, what we will have on the application is a number in which they can reach the chief of pre-K or the early learning collaborative, Ms. Ishandra Gary, or her secretary. Will have that number provided. We have an estimated timeline for the registration process for this year. Applications will be made available on Monday, April 6th through May 1st. Every Wednesday include April 8th, April 15th, April 22nd, and April 29th. Applications may be dropped off at the Educational Services Building between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. By May 15th, we anticipate having letters of notification of acceptance mailed to the parents at the address that they have provided on their application.
And Ms. Coleman, how many slots do we have?
At the Threadgear Primary, we anticipate 60 slots. At Claudine Brown, we anticipate 20 slots. At Leflore County Elementary, 20 slots. So we anticipate at least 80 students.
And also for those parents who may not be able to print their application, I'm saying this for the YouTube audience and the Facebook Live audience. All board members do have a copy emailed to them, and if you ask that, we'll make sure that they're printed and drop you all some off if individuals need copies of those pre-K applications. We also, I know that the churches are not in regular service as they have been, but we can also drop some of those applications off at the local churches, so that for those parents who are unable to print those pre-K applications. And I think as we talk more, like saying that we want to try to limit as much exposure as we can, but we also don't want to make it so difficult that our parents and our families cannot get to our resources. So if you all have any other suggestions about how we can make the pre-K applications available, because like Ms. Coleman said, they are, the slots are first come, first served basis. So we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to at least get the application.
Do you think you can partner with Walmart like you do for when you put the school supplies in for the fall? They let you put a rack or something in front and put those applications up there?
We can do that.
Yes, we'll take care of that, Ms. Milton.
Thank you.
Next, we have, just want to briefly discuss our recruitment strategies from Dr. Miller in Human Resources and Ms. Huss Transportation, because during the 2021 school year, we'll need more bus drivers. And so we'll start with Dr. Miller. Ms. Hudson.
I'm sorry, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
You want to go, Ms. Hudson?
You can go ahead, Dr. Miller.
Well, we're in the process of doing what we can to recruit more teachers. Our plan that we submitted to our human capital plan that we submitted to MDE did detail how we were going to do that. But of course, in the middle of this COVID-19 epidemic or pandemic, we are unable to, nobody is meeting, of course. So I'm researching some ways to do this virtually. I'm actually in touch with some other directors of human resources across the state to see what they're doing. This is not going to be an easy task, but I always have said and will continue to say, the charity starts at home, and my heart is in Leflore County, in Greenwood. So if we can recruit locally and do what we can, because we know those teachers will stay and be committed to our students, I think we're headed down the best course to tackling this problem. So we're going to keep all of our options open for recruiting at this point, but at the end of the day, it may not be an easy task to do it virtually, but we're still in pursuit of those avenues to get that done. But end of the day, no place like home. There's no place like Greenwood Leflore.
Dr. Miller.
Go ahead, Ms. Hudson.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Bailey had a question, Dr. Miller.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dr. Miller, has there any thought gone into, I guess similar to what Holmes County was doing at one point where they were doing like sign-on bonuses or like the billboard saying, come teach me and things of that nature?
Of course, yes, we can do those things. Yes, that's always an option. We can recruit that way and pay the money to do the signage. But my thing is, I want to always get our best and brightest from home. And I would love to start here. And if in the event that we can't pick up what we need from here, I would love to recruit outside of the county. But right now it's really difficult to do anything. Nobody wants to. Everyone is just they're fearful. So. But yes, sir, we can do those sign-on bonuses. I think SIG does offer a sign-on bonus as we speak. Our district does that for our 6 schools. But as far as the recruitment boards throughout the state, that's always another option. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Certainly. I think that would work good for you, Ms. Hudson, the boards, the billboards.
Certainly it would. Certainly it would. But one strategy that Greenwood Leflore Consolidated School District Transportation Department implemented, and now other transportation directors throughout the state, the Mississippi Delta area, are doing, we're going to barbershops, we're going to Walmart, we're going to fire departments, we're going to police departments, sheriff departments, even with EMT. Those people work, most of those people work shifts that they can alternate, and they have the flexibility to come and drive for us. I am offering classes. I am helping out with the CDL part of the test. What I mean by that is I'm providing information, I'm sharing the link, and I'm actually tutoring those who would like to be tutored as it relates to studying for the CDL test. Once they get passed, I start the process with them by giving them the information. Then once they get past the test, once they pass the CDL test, we begin training them how to drive. We go to the next step of getting them MDE certified, and then we'll do the hiring process through our district. But one thing that I know that works for me is that I try to make a connection with the people in the community, like Dr. Miller said, growing our own drivers. And that's what I'm looking forward to do. Everywhere I go, people know me. Here come the bus lady. You still looking for drivers? And I'm always saying yes. And I'm always trying to sell the idea of that there is a job available. It may not be the job you want, but it's available. And then I also inform people what our district offers, such as insurance and benefits, and as well as retirement for our drivers, if they are full-time drivers. We do have sub positions available, as well as part-time positions available. And those part-time positions are mainly dealing with activity trips. So that's what we're doing now to try to recruit. And I spoke with Dr. Miller. He and I had a conversation about once he started a recruitment of job fairs, I would like to be added to his list so that I can come out and recruit those people, those teachers, or individuals who want a job.
Ms. Hudson. Froze.
Are there any questions?
Yes, Ms. Hudson.
Yes, sir.
All right, now you said that you can get benefits, so they can get health benefits.
Yes,
and they're
sir.
full-time drivers. This is they driving every day, in the morning and the evening, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the average pay per month on the driver? I know it's probably, I mean, if I'm out recruiting, I can just tell somebody you probably make between this and that a month,
The starting pay for drivers is $15 per hour.
Okay, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one more thing, and one more recruiting thing that probably will help. We a few years back, we required all our coaches to get their bus driver license.
Yes, sir.
And I know we'll drop the ball on a lot of that. But if and I know there's some thing with Mr. Johnson also,
Yes.
because when we go into the games, we don't have to hire, we got coaches on the bus, they have to hire a driver. So if we get back into requiring them to get their license, they probably will end up driving. So, I mean, just like Mr. Miller said, if we can get those that are already there, I'm sure it's about 10 coaches that, don't have their license that we can start right there. Let's see.
Ms. Hudson, I think you're on mute.
Is Dr. Brown there?
I think her internet is acting up.
Let me go. Hold on. Okay. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay. So, just to answer your question, we are working with our coaches at this time. It has been implemented that our coaches are required to have their commercial driver's license. So I am working with a few of them now, and we're offering services, training services. We're offering CDL testing information and all of that to them.
All right.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Okay. Next are grab and go meals. When the school first closed, when the districts first started the school closures, we began serving students through our grab and go meals at each of the school sites. Shortly after we started, we were contacted by some local individuals in the medical profession who stated to us that in order to help us to lessen the risk of our own people being exposed to the virus, that they would begin delivering door to door. And the safest way for them was to deliver the food to the doorstep and then leave and have the individuals open the door and get their food. We've been notified that they will not continue. They're unable to continue. This week is the Friday is the last day that they're going to be able to continue the door to door, which also for us, and I want to get some suggestions from the board, goes back to the one is that the individuals contacted us because they basically were saying that we were running the risk of exposing our own people, and these come from people in the medical profession. And so now we've been brainstorming on how we can continue the grab and go meals for our students without exposing our staff, but also the parents and the community to the possible coronavirus. And so we've been talking about this, and Mr. Johnson received a communication from a group today, and he's going to discuss that and we're kind of looking into that to see what we can do. We do want we are concerned about students eating, but we're also concerned about our staff and the community members being safe because the numbers keep increasing in Leflore County. And so that's where we are as far as go. We're just trying to brainstorm now how we can best do that without adding to what the state is trying to decrease. And that's exposing people to this virus. So, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, to add on to what Dr. Brown said, we did start our grab and go program on the 16th and 17th. but I was contacted by local health officials just stating the risk that we were not only putting our staff, but the students and the community at risk. So we decided that we would let that other group take over. And afterwards, we did see where I think it was in Memphis, they had a worker that was, I think, tested positive. They had to shut down their program, along with Marshall County recently. That's another one. So we decided, we just looked at it. I talked to a couple of them on yesterday about starting it back up, and they just said they suggested that we err on the side of caution and not expose or put people at risk in our community as well as our own employees. So I did receive this communication today about Meals to You. And Meals to You is a collaboration between the United States Department of Agriculture and Baylor University. And this is where they will actually deliver food directly to students' door. It will be mailed to them and they can actually prepare. It's an individually packed foods for the children and they'll be able to prepare those meals on their own. It was a pilot program that was done in 2019, and I did find out that we are eligible for it because of we qualify for the summer feeding program. So I got Miss Howard, which is the food service chief. She's looking into it even further. She'll find out tomorrow, and so I have more information for you about that program on Tuesday on whether we can apply for it, and if we do apply for it, what will be the turnaround time for us to be able to get the program implemented. But it would involve our staff. It would be where we set it up with a vendor, and the vendor would, I think our parents will have time to log on to a site, give their address, sign up for it. We'll put that information out. We'll make sure we get that out, and then those meals will be mailed directly to their houses.
I think that's a great idea.
And so what we were working on is just trying to find something, even though we cannot continue to offer the grab and go, it's just not safe. But we want to try to find some other alternative to provide those meals for those individuals who would like to continue receiving meals.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes, ma'am.
how long, what is the turnaround time after they make their order?
Well, from what it says on here, it says the family would enroll for a week. It'll be a week long for them, a week long enrollment. Then it says a week after they enroll, well, 2 weeks after they enroll, they will start to receive their first meals. And what that could do is also, it could go into the summertime too, in case this lasts longer, they can be still providing those meals, not only starting in April, but throughout.
Okay.
But it is a process. But they did state on here that they're trying to expedite the process due to the coronavirus, but they still put the 2-week window in.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson, you can continue with our essential workers.
Okay, and next we are requesting to have certain workers recognized as essential workers, and that include our administration office staff, business office staff, maintenance, custodial staff, transportation, warehouse staff, as well as food services staff. And it just say these workers may be subject to regular or modified work schedules based on if the need arises during this crisis. And that just means, I know we had a stay-at-home order that was just issued, but we have issues like with maintenance, grass needing to be cut, other issues that may arise, as y'all mentioned, with the counselors and things like that coming in, just being able to allow them to come and work, modified schedules or things where they can come into the office, and we just have it stated that we do have them classified as essential workers for our district.
Right.
Any questions or thoughts on those?
I mean, just like with, I know the business office have to keep finances going. So like, it's like they work on their own time, like they come and do what they have to do and they just leave, right?
Yes, and it's based off what the supervisor kind of dictates to tell them. We try to make sure that, they're not working full 8-hour days, but we try to get them in during certain times when we know that the building will be open.
One question with security. Are we doing a walkthrough every morning at the schools to make sure?
Yes, I do have the SRO officers. They do rotate that 2 days a week. They come out and check the buildings. They make sure and check the grounds. But hopefully, once we have our maintenance staff back out working, we have some more money to make those buildings.
Okay.
Okay, next we have and this is, okay.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Johnson. This is Attorney Pulley. I wanted to just piggyback on what you mentioned about the essential employees. The governor today did issue the shelter-in-place order, but the previous order, Executive Order 1463, he's mandated that the governmental entities, also school districts, to have the administration identify which employees were actually essential to carry out the functions of the organization. And I just wanted to make everyone aware that you did speak with me about it. We do understand the conflict with the previous board. I think that there may be some issues with the previous board action regarding, pay for all of the employees. I think the issue was, how you get them to come every day and all of that. But I think that this is going to, it would be legal to at least have them come and modify their work schedules to be able to get some of the essential business done for the district.
What did you say?
Next we have the 2020-2021 administrator salary scale. And that'll be a part of the board packet. It's the same one we've used for this school year. There have been no changes to it. So that'll be added to our regular board meetings agenda, but it's there for the board to review. Number 11, budget preparation calendar. I asked Ms. Washington to come up with a timeline so that we will all be involved and have input regarding the preparation for the budget for the upcoming. If you have it in your package, the only change we have is that third bullet. I think you have April 9th. That should be April 16th. For the budget preparation calendar. But also this is just for the board to review. If the dates don't work for you, just let us know so that we could schedule the dates for budget input information with the board of trustees to a date that's better for you all. Ms. Washington, do you have anything regarding the budget preparation calendar in the comments?
Okay, just want the board to be aware that, the state still haven't met to come up with how much each school will be allocated for this school term. So until they come up with those figures, I won't have anything to go on other than our past history. And everything is probably gonna move a little bit slower than normal because of the virus. So the timelines that have been put in place right now, they are projected based on information that I think we can have in that time frame. And if everything goes well and you all can meet on those days, that would be great. But unless something else happens, we should be fine. The timelines that are on this paper.
Next, employee contracts and at-will agreements. I spoke with Dr. Miller and I discussed the employee contracts, and after our regular board meeting, working to issue our contracts to our employees as soon as possible. We discussed with the principals. The principals will make themselves available to schedule individuals in to come and pick up the contracts or either to sign them on site. So we wanted to just make or let everybody be aware that we are working to issue their contract as soon as the board meets this Tuesday. Dr. Miller, do you have any comments regarding?
No, ma'am, we're gonna have it done as quickly as possible.
Okay. The next item on the work session agenda, which will be included in during our regular board session, we had a facility study conducted for this school year, and the administration is asking the board to recommend or not recommend, but we want to seek to recommend a bond issue to either build new schools and facilities or to renovate the current ones we already have. Mr. Johnson, do you have any comments regarding this?
Well, just and I'm not sure if the board they have went through that facilities condition assessment, but I do think we do need to act at this point at something, whether it's renovation or new school. So I think a bond issue would be imperative to place our students in not only better but safer schools. That's the only thing I wanted to add.
And the last item just is a review of the agenda for regular board meeting of Tuesday is being prepared for review also. And I think if I'm not mistaken, there was one thing we do add to the board agenda, and it deals with E-rate, but we're reading over the information right now. And I emailed it to you all so that you can review it also, but I just received that information today. That's it. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
That's all we have right now. The only thing that I did mention, I'm going back to our third graders, the same plan that we have for our third graders to provide those interventions for those who are passing to fourth grade. We're utilizing that same plan for our second graders who will be promoted to the third grade.
So we're not doing number 14?
Yes, ma'am. Review a board agenda, number 14. I got myself out of order.
And Dr. Brown, once you finish that, I have a question.
Okay, I'm ready.
So on number 12 item, do you prefer if we have questions about that, ask now, or just wait until the board meeting?
You can ask now. We have Ms. Washington online.
It was in regards to recommendation. Not necessarily. Let me find it real quick.
Ask Mr. Bailey to speak up. I can barely hear him.
Hey, Ms. Washington, it wasn't dealing with finances. It was more of a question in regards to a recommendation from the superintendent in regards to number 12.
Okay, personnel. Number 12.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm looking in the board book right quick. We're in the board packet for the concern.
Are you on page 75, Dr. Bailey?
I'm scrolling. I'm trying to get there. I'm kind of old, so you have to bear with me.
Okay.
Let me see. 75. I think it was more with. What page is your administration listed on?
74.
74. Okay.
73 and 74.
I think my page numbers may be a little different. Okay, I see. I'm following you. Let me slow down. Okay, I'm with you. So 74. I'm looking for 74. Let me go to 73. Second from the bottom.
Okay.
District 4 people that have talked to me, they have concerns about their doc.
Okay.
Again, it's your recommendation.
Okay.
You said 60, 73?
73. That's gonna be 88 if you're scanning online, Antoine.
Okay.
Considering the other positions that are being held.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to share that with you, again, based on feedback that I've gotten from constituents in District 4.
Okay. Thank you.
You saying the whole number 2, Mr. Bailey? Dr. Bailey?
Well, I mean, my concerns in regards to just that particular. I'm sorry, go ahead, Antoine.
You're saying the bottom from the number 2 from the bottom, right? Yeah.
Right.
I think you said your concern is to carry both duties, right?
Correct. There's a lot of concern in regards to that.
Okay.
Dr. Brown, I've had some people to voice their concern as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I'm on page 3 in my page, approval to accept donation. This is donation from Mr. and Mrs. Preston Ratliff. It's a $500 donation. I think at one point we were discussing purchasing rings for the basketball team, and Mr. and Mrs. Preston Ratliff donated $500 to that.
Have we got it? Have we picked any rings out and got any price of the rings?
Mr. Gatewood had reached out to a company, and there were 3 different designs. From my understanding, I think the students are going to select one from those 3. And then we'll give you our pricing. I'll get that and get the pricing for each one as well as a picture so that you all can see it. Page 5, the pages are out of order right now. And this is what Mr. Johnson discussed, the approval of the COVID-19 essential workers.
Okay.
And listed there are the positions of those workers. Page 6, approval to extend school closure until April 30th of 2020.
Okay.
Page 7 is the principal salary scale.
Hey, Dr. Brown. Can I ask a question about the salary scale?
Yes.
Now, I realize that this may have been the way that you all did it last year, but my question is, did you all have the budget first, and then the overall budget for the district first, and then determine what the salaries would be? And then secondly, would you be open to maybe minimizing the salary by just say $2,000 or $3,000 and using that money as incentive for principals as it relates to academic enhancement or performance of the schools?
Okay, to answer your first question, this salary scale is the ones that have been used in the past is about the same amount for the administrator, but to lower the So you're asking to decrease their salaries by a few $1,000s to incentivize them.
Mm-hmm. If possible.
So
Or if realistic.
are the salaries going up or that's the same?
This is the exact same thing that they make right now. This is the exact same. The only thing that changed on this is the year, FY 2020 to 2021.
Okay. Now, we actually can't change their salary, can we? Can we change it or?
You're on a year contract, right?
Oh, okay.
But, Dr. Brown, aren't we in
I
compliance?
thought some people didn't grandfather in. I want to know how they go.
I can ask Attorney Pulley if he would chime in, but I wouldn't recommend lowering the salaries of the administrators.
Yeah, but aren't we also in compliance with MDE? Like what it?
Yes, ma'am.
I will.
Thank you, Doc.
I will add that with certified employees, that unless there is a showing of good cause showing of some work that they have done that was below the normal standards of the superintendent, I think lowering the salary to do the same job that they were doing. You might can change the job description, but if they're keeping the same job and they've not been given any type of warning or given any type of notice that their job performance has been bad, I think that you would run into some legal issues lowering salaries of good employees or other certified staff.
So, Attorney Pulley, what about the evaluation from Dr. Brown? Could that evaluation justify reducing salary or incentivizing the salary, I guess you could say?
Well, they would have to be non-renewed. If these people are not non-renewed, then I don't think there's going to be a basis to lower the salary.
Okay, thank you.
So page 9, the approval of budget preparation calendar. And the only change that would be made is that April 9th date should be April 16th. And if that's not a good day for the board, if you all would let me know and we will change that. Page 11 is the board approval to seek a bond issue for the Greenwood Leflore Consolidated School District. And then we start with page 12, which contains our monthly financial reports. Ms. Washington.
Dr. Brown, if you really don't mind, because we hadn't had time to go through it, we can just go on to the next thing so we have time to really digest it.
And the last part, am I off mute? Okay. And the next section is page 55 in my pack, the consent agenda, and attached are the items included in the consent agenda. And then we move to page 64, personnel recommendations. And like Ms. Milton said, just providing the board with the package so that you will have opportunity to look over them prior to the regular board meeting. And that's all I have, Ms. Milton.
All right, well, that concludes our work session. Thank you all for being so cooperative.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Y'all be good and be safe.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Don't let the corona get on you.